SOENECS. We're a Brighton-based sustainability and circular economy research and innovation practice. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the work that we've been doing with University of Brighton, with Restaurants Brighton over the last couple of months to try and see how we can get sustainability embedded within this sector, but across the rest of the sector as well. So just out of interest, how many people here know the term circular economy? Hands up. Good. For those of you who don't, essentially we're trying to move away from a take, make, throw away society into how can we value all the resources that are in the system and maximise them for business benefit as well as environmental benefit. So the project we've been asked to essentially work with the university on is how can we try and get the sustainable restaurant toolkit more impactful and used by more businesses. And then how can we work with stakeholders like yourselves to ensure that we're sharing some of the knowledge that's already out there. So we have done firstly a review of everybody, the first 65 people that filled in all of the checklists, to try and identify what good practice is going on, but also where people want to do things that they're currently not doing. And for us that was a really important lens to look at. Lots of you are doing brilliant stuff, but there's a lot more that you want to do, and our role is to try and identify how and where that can happen and work with Anchor and the team and the university to see whether or not we can facilitate that. Some of you will have seen us at the Bravo Awards. We ran a sustainability poll asking people what would be the biggest game changer for sustainability for your business, using bottle tops from the bar, boxes that we found in the back, and just essentially nicked everything. We turned up like we are now, got a blackboard, a table, some boxes, and ended up at the front of the venue getting a really good poll. And then we have also been working with some of you to do a workshop. So today, again, is about trying to learn what is already going on, but try and find out what opportunities there are. So, quick overview of the responses on the checklist so far. So there's a lot of people already doing recycling, which is great. 88% of people that filled out the checklist are doing recycling, and 85% are doing seasonal sourcing. 55% are aiming for zero emissions, and 48% want energy reduction targets. Those two in particular are really interesting because for many of you, if you're leasing a building, it's actually difficult to actually go in and do renewable energy because it's down to the landlord, and there becomes some significant challenges. A lot of you were saying that 53% of you want clearer supplier standards. So we've been exploring whether or not supplier standards, sustainable supplier standards, so the suppliers are actually providing sustainable food for you. And then of course sustainable sourcing is off the back of that. So 49% of the people that filled in the checklist want to increase organic produce. 46% also want better environmental training for the staff. This is a very high staff turnover sector, so keeping the staff motivated and understanding where sustainability comes in is really important. So we did a little poll at the Bravo Awards, as I said, and we asked 3 questions. Do you want local supplier standards, seasonal local sourcing, or staff sustainability? Overwhelmingly, people wanted seasonal local sourcing opportunities. And particularly we were talking to people about whether or not there's opportunities for buying clubs. But staff training was absolutely also up there as well. So we had a workshop in the Brighton Waste House. Thank you to those of you that came. Who's heard of the Brighton Waste House, just out of interest? A few of you. So University of Brighton has the first permanent building made out of 90% waste, all construction waste. And it's just at the back of the university on Grand Parade. It's a really nice venue to try and understand where sustainability comes from and the opportunities. We ran a workshop. You can have these slides, but ultimately people want simple, practical and easily deliverable tasks, but where there are big opportunities, collaboration. Cost is one of your major drivers, we understand that at the moment. as we've just seen from the video, local sourcing there's lots of really good local producers. How can we enable them to work with all of you if you're not already? Reducing food waste within the kitchen as well as at the table is really a big opportunity. And again, training for staff, helping people understand why it's good to be sustainable. So from our point of view, we're looking at, okay, how can we support this sector with some of the business benefits, and looking at how we can have collaboration, working with all the partners to explore opportunities. And the key takeaway from that workshop is very much practical, affordable and easy to implement. I've been involved in the Circular Economy Route Map for Brighton Hove. Just again, who's heard of that? A couple of you. So the City Council and partners have got a number of strategies in place. Circular Economy Route Map, the Food Strategy and the Climate and Nature Plan. And we've gone through all of those and mapped them against some of the outputs from the research of the toolkit. So local sourcing, food waste prevention, surplus food redistribution, sustainable procurement, circular business practices, packaging, and business support and behaviour. And all three of those documents have links to those topics. So the council and strategic partners are already pushing this message to say, we want to support the sector deliver this. How is the big question, and I'm not going to answer that today. But we did start to look at some actions against those different themes. Local food supplier list and buyer network, strengthening food redistribution routes, hospitality food waste support package, piloting specific waste reduction support, etc., etc. So that's essentially what we've been doing. We've been looking at all the information that's out there from a public policy point of view, looking at some of the brilliant work that you and others are doing across the city, and try and bring it all together, and ultimately we want to try and amplify it. We then also, just as a quick plug, if any of you are doing this, we've got a workshop going on week after next at +X on digital. Do the QR code. That's looking at how we can look at value flows, both inputs to the sector as well as outputs, and there'll be some food and drink available.